This version is the director's cut. There will not be some longer version on the Blu-ray.
He's here. He's here.
Mother! Father is here!
The king, milady. The king.
The macho stereotype, which, by the way, is part of it. And then the right-wing misappropriation of Viking culture. Those two things really repelled me. But when I took a trip to Iceland, the power of these landscapes led me to pick up the Icelandic sagas, and then I became very interested in Vikings. And then a couple of years later, Alexander Skarsgård and I had lunch, and he said he's been trying to make a Viking movie for 10 years, and it became real.
I will avenge you, father! I will save you, mother! I will kill you, Fiona!
I will avenge you, father. I will save you, mother. I will kill you, Fiona.
It was a pleasure. I mean, he transformed his body into a machine, a work of art. He became a beast. He created this posture, holding years of trauma on his shoulders. Unlike me, he's been obsessed with Vikings since he was a kid. And so as much as he has talked in press about how I drove him to the edge with my perfectionism, I can think of many times when Alex was the one who asked for one more take to get it right.
Their strength breaks men's bones. I have the cunning to break their minds.
Because I grew up in the countryside, but I was in my imagination and not, in nature. And it's in studying the past that I've learned more about like agricultural traditions and, living in nature and knowing, what the seasons are and the weather and all this is telling you, and if you're in Viking culture, and you have this pagan religion that's more tied up into nature and the significance of these things, it's going to make everything around you alive, and you are going to be more in tuned with it, and therefore have more intuition about what's going on.
I will avenge you, father.
I will avenge you, father.
A few days after meeting with Alex, I discovered that Shakespeare's Hamlet was based on a Nordic legend, the story of Hamlet, and it's the same story basically, and that was really exciting because if I could indulge in Viking religious culture, mythology, ritual culture, much more if I have a simple narrative that everybody knows. This is a big, expensive movie for broad audiences, so we need, people need to be able to follow the plot, and this was my key into making sure that was going to happen. Me and my DP, Jaron Blaschke, shoot single camera. The typical, typically you shoot a movie like this with multiple cameras. If you're doing it with a high level of craft, it helps you make your day and gives you a few more options and a little bit of safety. If you have a low level of craft, you're just shooting a bunch of stuff that you can put together later. But here we've chosen through the entire film exactly where we're placing our camera, and it's not going anywhere else but that. And with that, we're shooting these incredibly long, unbroken takes, and those are difficult. If you're shooting a raid of a village that requires hundreds of extras and many stuntmen and horses and farm animals and children, and you're shooting that in two very long choreographed shots, everything has to go right. And if it doesn't go right, you have to go back to the beginning and start over again. It requires a lot of discipline, but everyone it's an exciting discipline, and so people you do get addicted to the feeling of chasing the success of shots like that. My takeaway, sadly, is that like we haven't really changed, because as sophisticated and interesting and beautiful as Viking culture, was, the violence and brutality is horrifying. And so here we are, yet again, repeating ourselves.
Thank you for watching Picturehouse Cinema's unique video content. Hit the subscribe button to be kept up to date with our movie news, cast and crew interviews, highlights, trailers, and lots more.